Very good morning, class 11th. So, after finishing our very two important topics in respiration, that is, I hope now that you are very much clear with these two topics, that is, glycolysis and well as Krebs cycle. So, with proceeding to the another important chain that is called electron transport chain. Before I start with this topic, I will request one thing to all of you, that you should be clear, very much clear about the enzymes, prosthetic groups, cofactors. Please, if you are not clear with that, then first clear your concepts about the enzymes as well as oxidation and reduction reactions. Only then it is best way to learn etc, right? Because these things, they are commonly terms, these terms I have commonly used in this electron transport chain, and I have explained the enzyme topic in the chapter biomolecules. So you can go through that topic. It will make you clear that what is the purpose of enzyme, what is the purpose of oxidation reduction reaction here, why enzymes are so useful us. Otherwise this chain, you are not able to make a link with this chain, right? Now why after glycolysis and Krebs cycle we are going to discuss electron transport chain. If we look for ATPs till so far, in glycolysis we have formed two ATP molecules, and same in the Krebs cycle. If we talk about the net gain of ATP, that is only two molecules only. Others, they are in the form of NADH2 and FADH2, but they are not ATP is not directly released there, so we have to take out ATP from them. That is why we are moving to our third step in aerobic respiration, that is etc. See, only 4 ATP, we never think that this much energy is sufficient for us, as we are multi-cellular organism and very complex structure we have. So yes, we need much energy, and we know that aerobic respiration, there is approximately 34 ATP molecules, they are produced in aerobic respiration. So what is the point? We have to reach at that point. So yes, definitely there is a better way, and that better way is electron transport chain. There are the various series of molecules one after the another, which are called actually as the electron carriers, or you can say electron transfer, which are present or built into the inner mitochondrial membrane. If you just recall the structure of mitochondria, there is the folded membrane in the inner side, and these are the crista, and this is the inner mitochondrial membrane. So this membrane is very helpful in transporting it, because it is carrying a number of proteins and a number of enzymes. That is why in no reason that mitochondria is called as the powerhouse of the cells, because it has full machinery to develop that ATP, and it contains various enzymes as well as protein. So the purpose of discussing the etc here is that we have to create a gradient, and that gradient, you know very well from the chemiosmotic synthesis, that we are talking about the proton gradient here, that we have to create to yield, to produce 34 ATP from one glucose, which is usually produced in the presence of oxygen. See, 2 ATPs, 4 ATPs, and 34 ATP. Isn't there any difference? Yes, that is definitely we are looking for 34 ATP molecules. Now, if we talk about our previous glycolysis and Krebs cycle, the amount that produced here was the NADH, and here we formed in Krebs cycle, there was the 8 NADH. 8 is coming from, if we include pyruvate also, that is 2 FADH2 usually, and then 2 FADH2, that is from the 2 molecules of pyruvic acid, and 8 NADH2 from 2 pyruvic acid. So now these NADH and FADH, it is time to now yes, it is time to break them now. It is time that energy has to be released from them. That is the purpose we have to go through this electron carriers, or you can say a chain, which is known as your electron ट्रांसपोर्ट चेन. आपको सैलरी का चेक तो आ गया है, हमारे पास सैलरी तो मेरे पास चेक है, बट to encash it I have to submit into the bank. Only then once there will be released of money by the bank, or then I can generate the cash, right? So here same etc is doing the same thing, that it is using NADH as well as FADH2. First I will discuss all the components. First I will discuss all the components which we are going to use in the etc, and then I will take you for further to the एक्चुअल प्रोसेस ऑफ ETC. फर्स्ट सी कि हमें चाहिए क्या क्या. NADH2 ऑलरेडी हमारे हैंड में है, FADH2 हमारे हैंड में है. व्हाट दे आर गोइंग टू डू, दे आर गेटिंग ऑक्सीडाइज्ड. सो ऑक्सीडाइज मीन दे विल रिलीज electrons, and when they will release electron, that electrons will cross this chain. What is this chain? It is this chain which is having electron carrier or protein molecules one after the another. It is a complete chain of electron carriers, or you can say proteins. And finally, what is our destination? We have to reach till the oxygen. Four complexes are actually we are going to use. Complex 1, because NADH is included here, that is NADH dehydrogenase complex 1. Then complex 2, see in many books you will not find somewhere they have particularly mentioned complex 2. But why I have mentioned here, because here in complex 2 there is a FADH2 that is going to form here, and this will transport the electrons as well as the protons in this complex 2 step. So this FADH2 is associated with the formation of your succinyl coenzyme, that is succinyl coenzyme change into the succinate. So here that is why complex 2 is known as succinate dehydrogenase. Then there is a complex 3. Complex 3 is known as cytochrome B1 complex, B and C1 complex, and complex 4 is known as cytochrome C oxidase complex. See, these complex 3 and 4, they both are associated with the protein, they are associated with the electron transfer protein, that is your cytochrome. Both are having a complex with the cytochrome. So first is different, that is NADH dehydrogenase. Second is because here succinate is getting formed and our FADH2 is involved here and release the protons. So succinate dehydrogenase is involved here. So that is why for your understanding we have mentioned there. Complex 3 is associated with your, now complex 3 and complex 4, that is associated with your cytochrome. So cytochrome BC complex and cytochrome C oxidase complex. So there are 4 complexes. So here these 4 complexes, they are present inside our inner membrane. That is inner membrane of mitochondria, and this is the outer membrane. So these complexes, all complex 1, 2, 3, 4, they are arranged with the proteins inside the membrane, inner membrane of mitochondria. Then question comes, why complex 5th? Now once your these complexes, electrons are passed to them, now every time when energy transfer to the energy, or you can say electron is transferred to the another carrier, then energy is released, and that energy we use to pump the one proton from matrix to inner side. I'm not going to right now discuss this thing in the detail, because ATP synthesis is our next topic, but for your understanding I want to tell you that when this proton is coming in coming in. Now they are in the intermembrane space, there is a many H positive, they start accumulating. With accumulation there is a gradient formation. So for now to go back to the matrix, they have to pass through this complex, that is complex fifth, which is called your ATP synthase. So that is our next topic. Right now we have to concentrate on these four complexes, that is your NADH dehydrogenase, succinate dehydrogenase, cytochrome complexes in 3 and 4, that is your BC1 complex, and cytochrome C oxidase complex. See, these are filled with the proteins which play very important role in the oxidation reduction reactions, right? These proteins, where they are present, they are present in the inner membrane of mitochondria. So another thing we need here is the electron carriers. What are the electron carriers which are carrying the electron? First one is your FM1 flavin mononucleotide. Why it is present in ETC? Actually we are using here enzyme, that is your NADH dehydrogenase, and this is act as a prosthetic group for various enzyme, and one of the enzyme it include is the NADH dehydrogenase. Its full form is flavin mononucleotide, so it is a helper. Then there is a component of iron sulfur proteins. Iron sulfur proteins, there is the sulfur that is coming from your amino acid, that is cysteine. Why we need them in ETC? Because they are very helpful in the oxidation reduction, that is the redox reaction. See, everything has some function, they are related to one or another function. Then is UQ. UQ is known as your coenzyme Q, or it is your, now you know that coenzyme another, they help to increase the rate as well as the in the especially in the redox reaction. For the reduction they are very helpful. So here the coenzyme we are using, that is ubiquinone. It is a mobile component, keeps on moving inside the inner membrane of your mitochondria. So again, one more time I am going to repeat it, that this is first is the complexes, and then there is the electron carrier which are going to pass electrons from one to the another, like FMN will pass to other, FES is there, then UQ is there. Then there is the particular cytochrome proteins, that is your cytochrome C1, cytochrome B, cytochrome C, cytochrome A and A3. I have written them specifically in their order, that in the order they receive and transfer the electron. First the electron will be received by cytochrome B, and then there will be cytochrome C1, C and A2, A3. Now how to remember them? That is a very funny name I have generated, that baby, Vana, cake and aeroplane. Baby, Vana, cake and aeroplane. It's not, we can't say want. So for Vana I would just say one. So B, that is cytochrome B. 1 cytochrome C1. Cake, cytochrome again C, and that is cytochrome A and aeroplane. So and aeroplane, so cytochrome A3 complex, two A's are there, so cake and aeroplane. This is the order that in which electrons they are moving in with the cytochrome. So these what are cytochromes? Actually these are the electron transfer proteins, and they contain heme as the prosthetic group. So that is why in the starting of this lecture I already told you that enzymes, prosthetic group, coenzymes, these all we have studied in detail in our chapter biomolecules, and in the topic that is enzyme. So please go through them, otherwise these things you are not able to correlate with. So ETS is actually, it is what? It is a pathway, or it is a chain through which electrons they are passing from one carrier to another. Now you know the word carrier, that what we are talking about. How does it start? This NADH positive plus H positive, that NADH2, you can betterly write it NADH2. It is produced in glycolysis as well as Krebs cycle. Now it get oxidized. Oxidized means there will be loss of electrons. So it is oxidized by enzyme, that is NADH dehydrogenase. So it will form our complex 1. So 1 complex, because it is associated with NADH dehydrogenase. So this is our complex 1. Now electrons, they are transferred to your coenzyme, that is Q, coenzyme Q. It is not coenzyme A, it is Q, ubiquinone. Via किसके थ्रू घूम के आ रहे हैं वो, that is via FMN. FMN is present first and FMN से घूम के ये पहुंच रहे हैं ubiquinone के पास. Now ubiquinone receives the electrons via FAD and FAD कहाँ generate हो रहा था हमारा, that is you can say via FADH2, which was generated during the oxidation of your succinate. Here we use enzyme, that is your succinate dehydrogenase. यहाँ पे there was the production of your FADH2 in complex 2. So it will release, it will also get oxidized. So it will release your protons as well as loss of electrons will be there, and these will be received by our ubiquinone. Now when ubiquinone, now UQ is receiving your protons, it is receiving the proton, so it will get now reduced. So reduced ubiquinone is now called as ubiquinol. It is called as now ubiquinol, and it becomes UQH2. This is the reduced form of ubiquinone. And now how can it oxidize himself? Oxidation कब होगी? When it will lost the electron. So it oxidized itself by transfer of electron to the another carrier, that is cytochrome C. Now here the complex 3 is involved, that is cytochrome BC1 complex. This is just your theoretical part. We will come to the diagram now. So cytochrome C, it is a mobile carrier, or you can say it is an intermediate between 3 and 4. So cytochrome 4 finally is known as cytochrome C oxidase complex, which is having your aeroplane and cake, aeroplane and your and aeroplane, cake and aeroplane, right? So here is your cytochrome A3, which is having the copper as the two coppers there, the copper centers are there. This question comes in sometime need, that what is so specifically which ions are present there in the complex 4. It is having cytochrome C oxidase complex, and here is present cytochrome A3 with the copper centers. Now let's look at our basic part, that is your how to draw this. This is our outer membrane, and there is inner membrane. The space between outer and inner membrane is known as intermembrane space, and this is the inner membrane of mitochondria, where all the proteins or the members of ETC, they are present, and this area is our matrix of mitochondria. Is it clear? Outer membrane, this is inner membrane. Space between outer and inner membrane is intermembrane space, and this is inner membrane, so it is having a channel of protein, many proteins, and this is called your matrix. So as I told you that here NADH2 is getting oxidized and it will form in NAD positive. Protons will be here released and electrons will be there. Now these electrons, they will be received by FMN, that is your flavin mononucleotide. Now they are at high energy level, coming with full of energy. When they pass down the hill, they will pass the electron to FES. Now when they pass the electron to FES, energy will be released. Energy will be released here, and this energy is used to pump, to take in these two protons, a pair of protons from matrix to the intermembrane space. So two protons or pair of protons, they are coming inside with the transfer of electrons from higher to the lower energy level. Now it will move, pass on to the iron sulfur protein and reach to your UQ. Now here these UQ will receive the electron. Now here there is your FADH2 will getting oxidized, and it will also release the protons. Now once it will release, the proton will reach the UQ, same time this FADH2 will get oxidized in the complex 2, and with this UQ will now get reduced. It will receive the protons. Now it will receive the protons as well as the electrons. Now UQH2 has protons and the electrons. The moment it will pass the electrons, now it is passing the electrons to cytochrome B. The moment it will pass the electron, energy is released. So more energy is released here now, and this energy will pump now more proton, a pair of proton into the inner membrane, right, into the intermembrane space. And now this electron will be passed on to cytochrome B, that is your CYB cytochrome, that is CYB, and then there is iron sulfur proteins, and then there is UQ, and then this will pass on to your UQH2. Again, when the electrons, they will pass down the hill, the more with the release of energy, more protons they will be pumped into the intermembrane space. So in this way, electron will reach to your fourth complex, that is cytochrome C1, then cytochrome C, and then A and A3. Now here is now electron in the last. If I ask you, in the last, electron will be received by whom? If I talking about ETC, then in ETC, this chain, the last is electrons will be received by cytochrome A3 complex, right, and aeroplane, cytochrome A3 complex. Now these electron, they will give this electron to the oxygen. They will be received by in the ending part, it will be received by oxygen, and protons are already present here. So now these protons are present in the matrix. So these protons, they will join with oxygen and electron, and there will be release of water, right? So there, these protons which are present in matrix, they will move and join with oxygen, and here it will receive the electron, and there will be the formation of water. If you recall the respiration, then CO2, we have to form CO2 plus water plus energy. That is your equation of respiration. So here we are forming water in the mitochondria. So now if we say that complexes where energy is released, that is your 1, 2 and 3 complexes. Here I have not talking about that how these protons, they will come back to matrix. I have just talked about in this diagram that how protons, they are moving inside the space. How they will jump out into the matrix, that we will talk about in our next lecture. But right now, if I ask you that complexes where energy is released, that is 1, 2 and third complex, and which is the final electron acceptor in the ETC. In ETC, the final electron acceptor is cytochrome A3, that is your and aeroplane. It is like baby, vana, cake and aeroplane. So see, baby, one, cake and aeroplane. So your sequence is clear with the cytochrome. Now you need not to worry that how to remember that sequence. So here, which is the final electron acceptor, that is cytochrome, your A3 complex, and final electron acceptor in normal way, that is your oxygen. If etc is not mentioned there, then you always have to say oxygen. Be careful while you are attempting your MCQs. So flow of electrons is like something like this: complex 1, 2 and complex 3. Complex 3 and 4 have a mobile carrier in between, that is cytochrome C, and complex 2 and 3 they have Q, that is coenzyme Q. So here you can see that here NADH is getting oxidized, and here succinate, that is your FADH2, is changing into fumarate, right? It is changing into fumarate, and there is this complex 2 when FADH2 is changing into fumarate, and that complex 4, it will receive there will be formation of water. The electron will be received by oxygen, and protons, it will join with protons, and water will be formed. So finally our motive was to create a gradient. Which gradient? Through etc, that is to the proton gradient, because ultimately one name is still not clear, that is the energy, from where energy is, how ATP will be produced. So here we have at least create a gradient in the intermembrane space. Now these H positive ions has to move back to the matrix. So our next lecture we will discuss that how these protons, they will move back into the matrix, because now there is high concentration and this side there is very low concentration. So movement will be from high to low. So when there will be movement, they need to pass through a channel, a gate, which is your F0, F1 particles, or which is called ATP synthase complex. That will be our next lecture to form the ATP. So here if I ask you that in our Krebs cycle I talked about substrate level phosphorylation, and here the phosphorylation is not substrate, it is oxidative phosphorylation. So there is a difference between both kind of phosphorylation. In substrate there is a direct formation of ATP, right? In glycolysis and the Krebs cycle we have said that two molecules of ATP are produced, but in oxidative phosphorylation there is a production of ATP from NADH2 and FADH2, that is your ETC. So your ETC shows oxidative phosphorylation, and your glycolysis and Krebs cycle shows substrate level phosphorylation. So this is all about our electron transport chain. Go through this lecture very carefully, and I hope that you are able to understand it. So I will meet you with the ATP formation in my next lecture.